Sandrom's going to come up and talk to us about the Renee Jones Memorial Buddy Walk. She's a volunteer for that organization. And she's going to talk to us about a failure to communicate. Thank you.
Thanks very much for having me. I didn't know there was a raconteur requirement. So yes, I am the co-chair for the all-volunteer Buddy Walk Committee, and which I'll tell you about that in just a minute. I'm a little intimidated to be here in front of all you professional people as part of this volunteer organization, but we'll try to get through it together. And I would really love to tell you about Down syndrome, and I would love to tell you about disability and everything that we do to support people with disabilities and use this as a great opportunity to educate everybody. But my task today is to talk very narrowly and specifically about communication at the Buddy Walk. And so the Buddy Walk was established in 1995 by the National Down Syndrome Society to promote awareness, advocacy, and inclusion, and to celebrate Down Syndrome Awareness Month, which is in October. And so there were 17 walks the first year in 95, 250 walks in 2012. They raised $11 million over the nation, $500 from us, from our little organization. We spend about $10,000, take in about $13,000. So that's sort of the scale and scope of us. And so a natural thing to do when you're going to have an event like this and you want to promote awareness and inclusion is to have a speaker, because communication does tend to lead toward community and understanding, intimacy, and mutual valuing. So our first Buddy Walk, we did have a mayoral proclamation from the mayor, which was actually very nice. He was very nice and friendly that year. We didn't have a sound system, so number one thing is you need to have a sound system anytime you're going to have a speaker. Rini was the MC for the walk, and then she had some words to say, and then we also had a self-advocate speaker that year. But because we didn't have a sound system, nobody could hear either one of them. And they had a lot to say, but nobody could hear, so that was a bit of a bust. The next year we did have a microphone, so that was a step up. There was the mayor, the ex-mayor, he was now the ex-mayor, he came back, which we really appreciated. That was really great, and we had another self-advocate speaker. The new mayor, whose face I obliterated there, we tried to offer him some help. Do you need anything? Is there anything that we can do to prepare for you to make these remarks at our Buddy Walk? We dropped off our brochure, and he said, no, I've got it, I'm all set. So at the Buddy Walk, he says, and I quote, "I did some reading on the internet last night, and I learned that most parents grow to love their children." Thank you very much. I mean, we were shocked. I mean, can you imagine? Oh my gosh. And so it just goes to show you that the biggest problem in communication is the illusion that it has taken place. We thought we were communicating with this guy, and we were not. But we didn't want to give up. So the next year we had a new mayor, John Tonello. He actually was really great all the years that he was mayor. Very supportive of our community and our event. Came every year that he was in office. He even came to our holiday party. It was really nice. But we were still using the Buddy Walk as a primary way to communicate our message of advocacy, awareness, and inclusion. And we had a speaker from the Best Buddies organization, from New York State Best Buddies, and another self-advocate. And so that was pretty good, but the crowd really seemed kind of restless, and the speeches seemed to go on for a long time, so we didn't think this was really working. In 2007, we thought we'd try a celebrity speaker. This is a picture of the band that year. We worked with a local celebrity, and remembering the issue with the mayor, we invited this guy and his wife over to dinner, Daryl and I did. And we gave him all kinds of written information. We gave him a DVD, which I never got back, and we tried really hard to give him this message of inclusion so that he would be really prepped and ready. And it came that day, and I was all excited because we had worked really hard, thinking that we had learned from the previous lessons. He gave off-the-cuff remarks that lasted like 30 seconds and basically just walked up to the crowd, and I was really frustrated. And so I come to realize that although I shared a lot of information with him, I wasn't really communicating with him, so I shouldn't have expected him to be able to communicate with the crowd, right? So there's a difference between sharing information and communicating. So the next few years, we avoided any speakers. We still had Mayor Tonello back because he was really engaging and helpful, but we didn't look for any other speakers. So these other people are parents, volunteers in the organization, and we just played an MC role. We would introduce the walk, we would thank the sponsors and thank the teams and pull the pull the raffle drawings. You can see Brandon and Lauren there helping with the raffle drawings. And we were happy. We had our posters that we were trying to communicate with. We had our movie clips we were trying to communicate with. But people were happy to come to the Buddy Walk, have a fun, free day, and they weren't really looking to have their hearts and minds changed. Their hearts and minds were already changed. They were at the Buddy Walk. But last year we were approached by an author. So she wrote a book on Down syndrome, and she wanted to come and speak to our Buddy Walk, and so we thought we would take a risk and let her come and see what she has to say. And she's actually, believe it or not, fairly negative with her remarks. We were really surprised. Here's somebody in the community, and she kept talking about things that her daughter Annie couldn't do or wouldn't do, and that she loves her anyway. And we were really surprised, actually. So even with somebody from inside the community who wants to speak, doesn't mean that it's a message you necessarily want to get across. Right, so that's kind of a thing that we learned. And so after last year, I don't think we're going to have any more outside speakers. The crowd, really, the crowd has always been much more anxious to participate in everything else that we have going on that day. So we have carousel rides, it's a free lunch, we have posters, a therapy item giveaway, book, CD, DVD giveaway, which we use the grant money for. We have a basket raffle, popcorn machine, this really excellent woman with the balloon animals. So just a fun, free day for everybody. Oh, and this year we're adding carnival games. So what have we learned? I think we learned a sympathetic speaker is not the same thing as an effective speaker, so you have to be really careful about that. We learned asking, do you need any help? Preparing is not the same thing as let me know what you're going to say. We learned that the best forums for communication are actually not at the event. So we've done TV, we've done radio, we've done newspaper, we did op-ed. That's not the best way to communicate is at the event itself. And our crowd, what they really want is they want a fun, free day, right? They don't want a speech. And so we're from a small group. So our advice for small groups is, are you sharing information or are you trying to get through to people? So ask yourselves these kinds of questions. Who participates at your event versus who supports your event, right? So we wanted to communicate with the supporters more than the participants. And how do you communicate with each population best? So there's different ways to communicate with different populations. And in our particular case, an inspirational speaker on the day of the Buddy Walk is actually not the most effective use of our resources. And so this year, the Buddy Walk is September 7th at Eldridge Park. Please like us on Facebook. It's our 10th annual Renee Jones Memorial Buddy Walk. I showed the picture of Renee, and she was tragically killed in a car accident in 2006. So we renamed the Buddy Walk after her. So thanks very much.